April 28th and top of the hour. I have some fantastic guys with us today. As many of you already know, Nolan Davis is on the line with us, and we're going to be talking with Nolan about a whole lot of different things. And then we have Mr. David Lovelace. Did I do it right? Is that good?
You did. You did.
Okay,
Good job. Good job.
All right. I just had to do a little bit of coaching there, but I appreciate the love. So, as many of you already know, my name is Clint Brinkley. I'm the CEO of Your Business Solutions. We're an industry-leading MSSP, which is Managed Security Services Provider. So, I happen to be a two-time best-selling author. The last book that we just released was in September of last year. That was You Are the Number One Target, and it's all about cybersecurity. Of course, I've got my previous book, Relocating Your Business. We've helped out a lot of real estate brokers and agents and their clients and whatnot with that. We've done project management whenever it comes to those kind of things. But, I'm also really big into philanthropy. So I like to make sure that I always promote the fact that JoJo Bear, it's a fantastic children's foundation out there. It's a 501(c), so it's a totally legit deal, and we are growing like gangbusters. The only thing holding us back right now is this whole COVID situation, but we're going to come out of this doing well, doing good things for the kids out there. Nolan, since you introduced me to Mr. David Lovelace, I want you to introduce the crowd here to Mr. David Lovelace.
All right. So, I met David not long ago. It's been about a year and a half, maybe 2 years now. And David, he, when you look at him, you see a big muscle bound dude and you think, he's probably aggressive. He's probably shaking the hell out of people, you know what I'm saying? Grabbing them like, give me my coffee. This dude is one of the nicest dudes that I know. He and I, we really came together on really helping people with their fitness. As people know, I have Up Social Network, so I have a lot of business owners. And as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we're always trying to figure out how to better our business. And we put ourselves on the back burner a lot of times because of our dream and our vision. And he and I always talks about becoming the best version of yourself. That's your business, your family, your fitness, that's everything. So he literally sets up that slot. Now, he's in the midst of right now getting his PhD in nutrition. So it's not like he's just a gym rat type of dude that's just a swole dude. He's also a bodybuilder. So he literally is on stage. And I saw his style. I never said this to him, but I saw his style. All the other dudes was in Speedos and he was up there in trunks. Like, I'm not finna go out like that up there with flexing his muscles. So, really good friend of mine. Dude has a heart of gold. And I called him just the other day and I said, you know what? I promised somebody that I was going to look like you by 6:30 this evening. What can I do? And he said, do a whole bunch of push-ups. And I was like, but what if I max out at 13? Where am I in this Nolan to Lovelace situation? And I can't bridge the gap by 6:30 is what he told me. So, I just want to give big shout out to him. Love what he does. He does something on Facebook every day to keep people up and going. And that's why we brought him here today. So big shout out to you, Lovelace.
Thank you, sir.
That's awesome. Well, I couldn't have got a better lead into what David's going to be going over today. So we've got these slides up here for you, David. Anytime you're ready, we can just go ahead and jump right straight into this.
All right. Once again, thank you all for allowing me to join you this morning. As you know, we're going through a crisis right now. And this is something that I feel is an eye-opener in the sense that we should have been practicing these things from the get-go. We shouldn't have pandemic like this, slap us in the face and say, hey, you need to wake up and take charge of your body. It's the only body that you have, the only one that you need to take the time to fine tune it, like a fine tune engine, and in place of that as well, you put the right stuff in it. And we're going to go over all of that today. You're not going to put, regular gas in a Ferrari, it just does not work that way. And what's so different about our fine-tuned engines that are biological bodies? You put the best stuff back into it, is going to perform the way it should. And if your body's performing the way it should, COVID does not stand a chance. All right, so today's format is pretty much about staying fit during the quarantine. Gonna let you know about equipment that you can use for your home, exercise, the amount of times you should be working out during the week, basically your frequency. Mental exercise goes a long way because stress is the biggest silent killer. The nutrition choices that you're making and the tips that I will give you to help you manage that. And then above all, time management, because unfortunately time waits for no man. So if you do not have a specific format or schedule, it kind of makes things a lot harder for you to do. The most successful people on this planet have agendas. They have schedules. You know, they have a certain regimen that they follow. Same thing with the most successful athletes. They have like a ritual that they go through that keeps them consistent doing the same thing over and over again. Thus leads to the quote that it's my favorite quote, is by Aristotle. And it says, excellence is not an act, but a habit. So that's just because we're basically the product of our performance, of what we do. So if you continuously be a slob every day, in and out, guess what? Chances are you're going to become a slob. But if you are practicing the necessary tools to make you the best version of yourself, guess what? You will become the best version of yourself. All right? Just a little something I like to throw in there. All right, so first thing, necessary equipment to use at home. Real simple, dumbbells. Very easy to come by if you're looking for the lower weights. Unfortunately, right now, the heavier weighted dumbbells are not available, but having some type of dumbbell weight is fine. I can honestly say 5, 8, maybe even 10-pound dumbbells, you can do a lot of effective damage, all right? Something else, resistance bands. Resistance bands are awesome. I get a lot of my clients to purchase resistance bands because when they go on vacation, you can't really take weights with you. And for example, if the location that they go to has a not up to par gym, you know, some places you go and they're like, oh yeah, this is our gym, and it's a treadmill and a mat. You know, what are you gonna do with that? So having resistance bands are awesome to have at home and to take with you when you're on vacation because they'll fit anywhere and they're super light. Stability ball, again, another thing that you can have at home. A towel. There's so many things you can do with just using a towel. And it's more of a sense of doing certain exercises that forces you to put yourself in a stretch position so you can fully elongate your muscles, because our muscles are elastic. So if you're able to put yourself in a position where you're able to elongate that muscle as much as possible and work it in a reasonable way, because a towel, there's no weight, you just kind of find your own range of motion, you can be successful doing that as well. And then of course, water. All right. Now, the water is good for hydration, and the towel is also good to wipe your sweat.
Lovelace.
Yes.
Hey, real quick, are you sure that all muscles are elastic? Because I'm stiff as hell over here. I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting the right information.
Unless you're a robot, brother. All muscles are elastic.
I'm not sure. We're going to have to test Nolan.
Right. You're going to have to test me on that. Let's go.
All right. So moving on. So, you know, people are always asking me, for one, what could I do at home? And then also, how often and how long should we exercise? And right here on the side, it says a minimum of 3 times per week is a good starting point. Now, once you maintain yourself, 3 times a week is still good. But if you're first starting off, which let's face it, I would say 70 to 80% of the population does not work out. And don't be mistaken by the amount of gym memberships that are bought, because even still, yes, people have gym memberships and they don't go to the gym. All right, only 30%. So the gym that I work at has about 14,000 members. 30% of them show up. The rest of them just pay their gym membership because they want to still have that ideal. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Which it goes well with some things, but as far as the gym goes, I'm sorry. If I'm paying for something, I'm gonna use it. Okay? So working out a minimum of 3 times a week is beneficial. It's something as simple as doing a 30-minute moderate, low and high interval workout to elevate the heart rate to a reasonable amount, and getting some type of professional advice on how to gauge that is going to be important as well, because in anything that you do, you have to look at it as far as beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and figure out where you are in a sort of some of a mini assessment, so that you know where you are, and then you can move on the level of intensity that you should be going. All right. Now, this 30-minute moderate cardio activity can be performed up to 5 times a week. Okay. And then, or you can do 25 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity 3 times a week. And the benefit of that is that it doesn't take much time to do it. And then when you're done, your body should still be burning fat when you're done. The bad effect of this is that you can potentially overstress the body, thus giving your shaky results, to where now you're overstressing the body. You've elevated cortisol, which literally breaks muscle tissue down, and now you're storing fat. So you want to kind of gauge that. And even though it may feel good and exhilarating, chances are you're overstressing the body, and you're now fighting a losing battle.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
You first, Nolan, then I got one.
All right, I literally have 2 questions. So one, when I'm laying on the couch taking a nap, can I tell my wife that I don't want to overextend my body and I know what my limitations are? So that's one thing I want you to think about.
Okay.
And two is, so what about insanity? Because I was doing insanity for a while, and it was like 75 minutes, and it was crazy, and it was insane. And even Shanti was getting tired. I always knew when Shanti was tired, because he would go to somebody and say, he would stop doing it and go over there and say, "Now look at Billy's form. If you see his arm is at a 90."
He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy.
I was like, dude, I was like, Sean, if you don't get your butt back over there and
that's called scheduled resting. That's what that is.
Exactly. So what about those types of situations, like insanity and situations like that?
All right. Well, first, I'm going to answer your question for the first one you said. And if you can't get your lazy butt off the couch, it's something like that, then there's something wrong with you, brother. Then there's something wrong with you, brother. But the other one, as far as the insanity goes, insanity is actually a very good high and low interval type of high intense metabolic conditioning type of workout routine, where it keeps your heart rate elevated, which is good. The only thing that I see that's wrong with it is just like how I explained the high-low interval training. You need to give yourself enough time to recover.
Got you.
You have to give yourself enough time to recover, and that's what it is. And good ways to judge that is simple. How sore are you? Now, if you are overly sore, chances are whatever it is that you did was a little more intense than what you can handle, and you're just going to have to give your body enough time to recover. Now, does that mean you have to stop working out? No. Just that whatever it is that you're doing has to be low intensity. Just because you're sore, is that going to stop you from eating? Is that going to stop you from breathing? Is that going to stop you from going to the bathroom? No. So you should still carry on your daily rituals. It's just that the level of intensity needs to come down.
Gotcha.
Because you got to give yourself enough time to recover.
Okay. All right, cool. Go ahead, Clint. What did you have?
So I got a question. So, with all these workouts and everything, depending on the type of workout that you're doing, how should we handle like the warming up or the stretching and things like that? And, stretching is good at the beginning, and sometimes I hear that there needs to be some stretching and cool down at the end as well.
Yes.
How do we gauge some of that to make sure that we don't underdo it? I mean, that's kind of how I ended up with my situation with my shoulder.
Okay. First of all, in anything you do, you always have to warm up. Always have to warm up. By warming up, you better prepare yourself for the stress that you're going to do. You actually burn calories better, and you actually also balance out the stress. Because say that you don't warm up and you go right into the workout. Now, that's something that your body has to, even if that's something you do all the time, your body still has to, catch up to that heart rate level and catch up to that level of intensity stress that you're putting on the body. So by doing that, by just jumping into it without a warm up, you've already raised your risk to injury. Okay, That's that one. Now, as far as the stretching goes, it depends on what you're doing. Now, if you're just going to be doing just straight up compound movements, like just a bench press or a squat, where it doesn't require too much lateral or sports related activity, then you don't necessarily need to stretch in the beginning. You have to warm up. No matter what it is that you're doing, you always warm up. Even when you're going to do cardio, you should warm up. All right. Now, if you're going to do more sports related activity, like say if it's a more high intent, like insanity, you should definitely stretch before, because there's going to be a lot of bouncing, a lot of jumping, a lot of high and low intervals. So in that sense, yes, I highly recommend you stretch in the beginning, because again, our muscles are elastic and you want them to have as much elasticity in them to where you recover better and you actually lower your risk to injury. Because I can tell you, if muscles are really tight and the muscle spindles are really tight together and you're trying to work out, it's almost like going against the grain, and sooner or later something's going to snap. Almost like taking a rubber band out of a refrigerator and trying to pull it.
Man, you just talking about that. That makes my rotator cuff over here hurt more.
So I'm telling you, it's always good to warm up and stretch in the beginning if necessary. Now, at the end, you should always cool down and stretch, always. Because again, the purpose of the cool down is to gradually bring your heart rate back to its original state. And it also helps eliminate what's called blood pooling. Now, blood pooling doesn't hurt, but it presents like those varicose veins, the swelling of the veins and indentations of the muscles in your skin, which in the long run looks horrible. It doesn't hurt, but cosmetically, it's not pretty. Stretching at the end, like I said, is going to help with your recovery because you're going to elongate those muscles. And muscles are pumped and they're tight. You don't want to just stop, because you can easily, while you're cooling down, you can easily bend over to reach something up and pull a muscle in your back. Yeah. You know why? Because you didn't stretch, you didn't elongate those muscles, right? The more elasticity you have in that muscle, the easier it is to build muscle, the easier it is for you to recover, and the easier for you to build muscle.
Gotcha.
All right. Any questions before we move on?
Oh, man, I'm good.
All right. Okay, so now we're talking about eat, drink, and sleep well. The third thing on this list, my favorite thing to do, in a reasonable sense, and I'll tell you why. Okay, now, studies have found that just vitamin deficiencies alone can cause decline in mental health, that it can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, addiction, that's a big one, and other physical disorders. Now, this all in the end leads to a certain level of stress. And like I told you before, the stress hormone is cortisol. Now, of course, we need, cortisol to be regulated in our body for certain functions, but a higher elevation in cortisol, like I said, literally destroys muscle tissue and make you store fat. Stress wins every time. So having things to help alleviate stress, like non-traditional yoga or meditating, something that's going to connect mind and body to help alleviate stress. And then even doing something fun, playing video games. I know that sounds funny, but playing video games, something that's fun and something that's not going to stress you out, that's a way. My brother, he likes to play basketball. That's another way to relieve his stress. If he plays a good pickup game, in a way that can go either way, because then, next thing you know, you have someone that's grabbing you on the basketball court and you're all upset, and that creates more stress. But we're talking about fun things, meditation, something that's going to clear your mind. One of my clients, he's a cancer doctor, and he says what they always try to do for their patients is have them do something to alleviate stress. Because the more the stress is elevated, it actually makes the cancer cells grow. All right. So that right there should let you know that too much stress causes a negative chain reaction. So doing these things, eating well, drinking well, and sleeping well, these are all things that help lower stress. So all the things that I named here on the list, you can, just by getting the proper food, the proper drink, and the proper rest, you can immediately, from the second you start doing that, within 24 hours, you can already start the reverse process of building chronic disease and elevating free radicals. Okay?
Mm.
All right. Any questions before we move on?
We're good.
All right. All right. So we're on the next slide where it says just move. And this is for the 70% of the United States where it's crazy. In the past 10 years, the obesity rate has tripled. And partly of that is due to technology, but that's a bad excuse, to where we've become lazy in a lot of sense of not getting up to move to do certain things. And the first thing to come into invention to contribute to that was the remote control. I remember growing up, it was, Dave, go to the TV and turn the channel.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
I remember that.
And then when the remote control was invented, I was so happy. I was like, yes, I don't have to get, because I'm telling you, I would be in the other room and my mom would be like, Dave, come change the channel. I'm like, gonna go all the way over there to change the channel, because you know how parents are. If they can utilize you in any way they can, they will. And then their excuse is, well, I raised you, you owe me. You know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, you already know how that goes. So yeah, one of the things you can do is just get up and move. I mean, you know, a lack of movement is going to make your sedentary life a lot more hellish, is going to make you more sluggish. And the longer you become more sedentary, the more accustomed you become to being lazy. So now your energy level naturally goes down. Your testosterone level naturally goes down. Your need to have confidence goes down, which in turn slowly elevates cortisol. And they've had recent studies that showed that, and this is how stress wins every time. Even if you have high levels of testosterone, if your cortisol levels are high, you're gonna lose. Whether you have low testosterone, you have high cortisol levels, you're gonna lose. So whether your testosterone is up or down, it doesn't matter. If you are stressed, guess what? You're gonna need to continue to find ways to help elevate your testosterone, even to the point where now you gotta get injections. And if you have to get injections to boost your testosterone, now you become dependent on it. So now say you can't afford these testosterone shots and you stop. Let's face it, your sex life goes to hell. Your drive, your confidence, the testosterone is the king hormone. Everyone thinks, oh, testosterone is just to drive the male hormone. No, it also promotes confidence. It helps promote clarity. It helps build muscle. In turn, improves on your metabolism. And if you're improving on your metabolism, you're slowing down the aging process. You're living longer. You're stronger. So all of that goes back to starting to move, because just simple movements actually help lower stress. All right. Now, and there's plenty of outdoor activities that you can do. Going to the park, walking. You know, you can hit up the trail. You know, if you're a little bored and walking on the treadmill, hit up the trail. Ride your bike. Okay. Doing calisthenics at home. Simple as doing push-ups, air squats, sit-ups. You know, stationary lunges. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do that does not require any weights. But guess what? You're moving those major muscles.
Hey, David, what about these sit-stand desks? I actually have one of these right now, and
I think they're awesome.
Yeah.
The same client of mine that's a cancer patient, you know, he doesn't always get, because he's so busy, he doesn't always get a chance to get in the cardio like he wants to. So some days he'll just speed up the desk a little bit more so that he can get a little bit more steps in, a little bit more calories.
Yep.
And he's become I'm so proud of him. He's been working with me for the past almost 3 years. And he's so good at his habits, so good at staying, using that momentum to move him. You know, and the habit that I've instilled in him is going to be stuck in him for the rest of his life. You know, and there's no excuse as far as age, because he's in his mid-40s. You know, he's just now starting to exercise and take better care of himself. And you would think he's a doctor, that he would have started doing this from his youth, or even when he first became a doctor. It was only 15 years into him becoming a doctor that he decided, you know what? I need to do something about my health. So again, just doing simple movements, not sitting on the couch, not sitting in front of the television, not sitting out hunched over on that laptop or iPad, or even on your phone for that matter, because now we can do everything on our phone. I mean, right now I'm doing this call on my iPhone right now. You know, so we have so much things out there to make us lazy. You know, make it a point to, even if you got to set an alarm, which are very effective. I have a lot of my clients that I first start off helping, I tell them set alarms. You know, and if you're really bad at that, set a second alarm. So for example, say I need to eat at 2 o'clock. I've got an alarm set for 1:50 and 1:55. Just a reminder, okay, you know what? It's about that time, because that first alarm can go off, and then you're so consumed in whatever it is that you're doing, that alarm came and went, and you just wasted your time.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that, because I actually have like several alarms through the day. I'll say, you know, this is a snack alarm, this is a lunch alarm.
Yes.
I got a backup lunch alarm because I'll ignore the first alarm, like you were just mentioning.
No, it's effective.
And then I've got a weight that I have here right next to my desk, and whenever sometimes I'm in meetings, and I'll just be just doing this kind of absentmindedly, but I get a little bit of blood flow going. I just get a little bit of something.
Getting blood flow is important too.
Question.
And go ahead.
Now, as a woman, our stress levels are much higher, and you're talking about the cortisol levels and stuff. And then
yes,
I've got a knee that doesn't work. So I'm kind of limited on my activities of what I could actually do. So what do you recommend?
I recommend so if you have issues with your knee, there are things that you can actually do lying on the floor. Like, for example, and this is a good way to take the stress off your lower back. When you lie down on the floor, you can prop your legs up on a couch or a chair, whatever the case may be, and you're lying on the floor, and you can easily do a bench press with some weights. If you don't have any weights at all, I can guarantee you, just by bringing your arms together, your arms have weight. If you do this lying on the floor for 60 seconds, I promise you, you will feel something. Because guess what? When I lie on the floor for 60 seconds with no weights, and I just open and close my arms, I feel something. Another thing you can do is sit up and reach for your knees. So you're lying down on the floor, legs are propped up, and all you're doing is getting a slight crunch, reaching up, touching your knees, lying back down, reaching up, touching your knees. And then if you want to take it to another level, now you're reaching up, opposite hand, opposite knee, opposite hand, opposite knee. And then when you're done with that, now you can sit up and reach straight up to the ceiling. And now when you reach up and going straight to the ceiling, not only are you working your core, now you're working your arms again too. And because you have to hold that position up, not only are you working your core, your arms, you're also working your back. So and I'm telling you, I've become such a great specialist on helping people do exercise movements that don't require any weight at all.
So one thing as we talk about moving, I think there's an old school lost art that has been lost throughout the generations. And I feel like the common denominator is still there. I remember a time like when people were younger, or when we were younger, older people a lot was in more shape. And that's because the movement that they would put in place is whooping their kids. Kids is gonna be bad. I'm just saying, kids have been bad at the beginning of time, and they are bad right now. I mean, just that with the belt, like depending on, I mean, but I'm just saying.
Chasing them down. Yeah, I get you. I get you.
The hollering and screaming at them, sit down. What I tell you to do? Like all of that lung.
As funny as you bring that up, that actually burns calories. You're right. It's a funny thing, but yeah.
You said, I didn't hear you, Jeanette. What you
I
say?
said it's my kids' fault I got fat because they all moved out.
See, that's exactly. You was in tip-top condition when they was there. And you was working them. You see what I mean?
She had enough of them there. They just kind of took turns. So, you know, that's.
I'm sorry, man. Go ahead, Dave. I'm messing with you, man.
No, it's all good, brother. Hey, and this is why we get along. My favorite thing to do is to laugh. You don't understand. I get on calls with my brothers and sisters. We've been doing this whole new this Google Duo thing, where we pull up, and the first thing I always do is when they see me on the screen, and I give them a look. You know, it's laughter to me is the cure for the soul. It heals so much, because guess what? Laughter actually helps alleviate stress. So my favorite thing to do is to laugh. I can tell you, if I can sit down and the first thing I want to pop on Netflix, I go to comedy.
Yep.
And that's why right now Kevin Hart I love Kevin Hart because he makes me laugh. You know, Dave Chappelle makes me laugh. I love these guys. So anything comedy, I love it. There was this one show that just came on Netflix with I can't remember the guy's name, but he was in the Hangover movie, and he's dating the mother of the child, and this young African American gentleman. He's giving him such a hard time, but he's trying to bond with him because he's dating.
Talking about that Coffee and Cream?
Yes, that one. I haven't finished watching
the first episode yesterday.
I've watched. I haven't finished watching it, but man, it's really funny. So again, I love going to, and my wife will tell you too. She's like, man, you always watch the funniest stuff. Like, yes, because I love to laugh, because guess what? It helps alleviate stress.
Absolutely.
Right? Promoting positivity. All right. So now, okay, good. That is next one. So that is the one I have.
This is where I need
All right. Okay. Now, healthy snack alternatives. The first problem when it comes to these snacking period, like a strawberry shake, and make sure it's pure, where you're not adding added sugar. So throwing together, like saying some strawberries with some almond milk or some coconut milk and blending it up, that's good. Or if you want to have a berry mix, that's good as well too. Just modify it in a sense that having too much of that, because it's so high in fiber, it will make you go to the bathroom. So if you're having any somewhat constipation issues or slow moving gut, having a shake like that will be really good, where you get a good balance of sugar, vitamins, and fiber. All right. So back to, so you understand how that works. And one more thing I'd like to add is having, all natural granola bars. And make sure you read the label too, because when it says all natural, it's a selling tactic. Make sure the sugar level is not too high, and make sure it has a sufficient amount of fiber. Fiber is very important. You have to have a certain balance of fiber throughout the day in order for you to have a successful bowel movement. Then, of course, on the other end of that, if you have too much fiber, which usually not the case, but let's just put it out there, because it's my duty to let you know this, that too much fiber can actually have a reverse effect. So having a good balance of fiber in your diet is good. And again, most of us don't really reach our requirements daily. So that's pretty much that in a nutshell.
So to answer this for me real quick. So whenever it comes to sugar, you're saying, check the sugar content on there.
Yes.
How much is too much sugar content?
So I would say, like say it's a 2-ounce bar, like a 1 to 2 ounce bar, you don't want to have more than 12 grams of sugar. Anything more than that, because it's already going to come with its natural sugar. My favorite bars are actually Kind bars. If you look at the ingredients in Kind bars, they're the ones that have the least amount of preservatives, the least amount of high fructose corn syrup. That's another thing you need to avoid. I would highly recommend is anything that says high fructose corn syrup you want to stay away from, because our bodies technically do not digest high fructose corn syrup. It is a modification of sugar that is unnatural.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say try your best to have 12 grams or less. And I've noticed a lot of these bars have about roughly 7 grams of sugar. So to me, that's perfect.
Awesome. Awesome. Any other questions before we wrap up his segment? Because man, this has been really, really educational for us.
What is your take on a low carb diet?
A low carb diet to me is fine if you have low activity. The more activity you have, the more carbs you need, because you're going to need more carbs to help move your muscle. The purpose of carbohydrates is balanced nutrition and muscle fuel. So if you have a high active day, then a low carb diet probably wouldn't do you well. So someone like me that has a lot of muscle and I'm active a lot, like the average personal trainer, a low carb diet is not going to go well with the average active personal trainer. So someone that's like has a 9 to 5 where they're sitting most of the day, then yes, a low carb diet is going to be good for them, because they're not taking in any extra carbohydrates. Because if you're taking those extra carbohydrates and you don't use that fuel, it becomes stored energy, and stored energy is fat.
Okay.
So
to
answer that question, a low carb diet is good for someone that has low activity, but someone that is active, a low carb diet is bad.
I got a bad question, but I'm gonna hold on to it. I'm gonna let Nolan go.
Oh no, what I was gonna say was what I have actually runs right into what he was talking about, because David is one of the people that really use the product that I have. So I wanted to say, instead of me going last, could I go next?
Yeah, I think we can. Hang on just a second. There you go.
All right, cool.
Ask and you shall receive.
Boom. That's what I'm talking about. So you know, David is a expert nutritionist, and so when I had this product right here, I'm just going to kind of talk back and forth with David. This is the only FDA registered over-the-counter HGH in the world. This is Somaderm gel. And what this does, it does a multitude of things. This is the only thing that I've seen that literally builds your body pretty much on a cellular level, helps you with mental clarity, physically helps some of the vanity things like tighter skin, thicker hair, even increased muscle mass. It helps with your metabolism. And right now it does help with your immune system, pretty much on a cellular level. This, in a nutshell, what it does is that the aging process is to where your cellular generation starts to decline. When HGH, which is human growth hormone, starts to boost up your cellular generation, and it's a microdose, so it only does the cellular generation. It's metabolized in your body in 4 to 6 hours, which means that it's not cycling through causing any damage. That's why you take it once in the morning, once in the evening, and it's a gel. It's transdermal. You just kind of put it on your arms, like right here. It absorbs right into the thin-skinned areas in about a minute. And what it does for your body is absolutely amazing. There is nothing else like it in the world. And I know, David, you really talk about the replenishment part of things, and you talked about that a little bit earlier. Tell them how this kind of replenishes your body and really helps you to recoup from a workout and build muscle mass while helping you burn calories faster.
Okay. I always say truest results come from proper replenishment. And this Somaderm is the key to all of that. Just like how you brought it up, it helps heal you on a cellular level. Everything starts on a cellular level. It's like planting seeds. If you're going to plant seeds into something, you want it to sprout to something good. That's what this does, because it starts everything on a cellular level. If you plant bad seeds on a cellular level, guess what? You're going to get crap. And unfortunately, the United States population has developed over time such a bad way of eating, where a lot of the stuff that's banned in other countries, we produce. We feed ourselves with this stuff. So we're planting bad seeds. So again, planting bad seeds is going to result in bad performance. Planting good seeds is going to result in good performance, and that's what this does. Like I said, truest results come with proper replenishment. It's going to help you get better sleep. It's going to give you better cell rejuvenation, which over time we lose.
Yep.
So this is a no-brainer. You want to live longer and stronger? This is the key.
Absolutely. So when you look at it from that standpoint, I'm not going to go a lot into it. It's just one of those things that literally is one of the best kept secrets. We're the only company that has it. It's a 15-year product with proven results, 0 side effects, because it's metabolized in your body in 4 to 6 hours. I've seen people try to prove this wrong because it is a microdose, and it's something that's called microdosing, meaning that a little bit over time is where you get your results, and it's the safest way to get in your body. So Lovelace uses this, and he talks about it on his workout. You see what Lovelace looks like, right? Now, I'm saying that to say on the opposite side, my 89-year-old grandfather uses the gel. My mother puts it on him because she takes care of him. He has dementia. It helps with his focus and mental clarity, and he doesn't have to use his walker to go to the bathroom. Now, you got to use his walker to go to the kitchen because the kitchen is way down the hall, but that bathroom is a big deal because how do you use that with going to the bathroom and all of that good stuff? So that just alleviated a lot of frustration, and this helps with mood. I literally know a chick that I just thought she was a mean chick, right? And so I know this chick, and sometimes you just be like, okay, she's just mean. She got on the gel, and I was on the phone, and she was nice as nice could be. I was like, I need you to always stay on the gel. I need you to never get off the gel. This conversation was delightful. I had no idea you had delight in you at all, right?
It sounds like this needs to start going out in some of my gift baskets now. So I'm
right. Absolutely. So this stuff has done everything for different people. When I talk thicker hair, tighter skin, higher libido, improved eyesight, improved blood work, right? We're talking high blood pressure coming down, cholesterol coming down. This literally puts your body in a younger state. So as the cellular generation...
I'm sorry, but can I quickly add to that before it loses my
Go
mind?
ahead.
Okay, so I just want to remind everyone, if you notice everything that he's talking about, what are all these things doing? Helping alleviate stress.
Yep.
And just like how you said, she seemed as angry as anger can be, and now she's the nicest person. Because I can guarantee you her stress level is down. And that's what this does, because what also helps with stress is getting the proper sleep. And what does the Somaderm do? It helps improve on your sleep.
Absolutely. That's the first thing that you recognize in the first couple of weeks, is that you have that full REM rest. So Here's the thing, I'm just throwing it out there. As we get older and as we age, there's always the talk of biohacks of things, right? So, we do have to do it, but if this improves your mood, this decreases the soreness, this replenishes your body, this gets your body the rest and the sleep that you need, it's kind of easier to work out or stay healthy when you can focus a little bit more, when you can alleviate a lot of the pain, the strain, the stress on your body, because it's rebuilding that much faster. So I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there. That's why I didn't have a whole bunch of slides. I knew that Lovelace was going to be on here. He talks about this at every workout. If you check him out on Facebook, he does a daily workout. If you check me out, I'm always putting his workouts out there. And we just kind of do it.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely. We just do it as a family. But I'm telling you, you got to get moving. I don't care if you're walking. I don't care if you're jogging. I don't care if you're whooping your kids' asses. We got to get moving, because this whole thing of this quarantine, we have no idea how long we're going to be here. And right now, everybody's talking about the new normal, but this second, we're creating the new normal. So I don't know what that evolution is going to be. So don't wait to go back to the gym. Don't wait to say as soon
Please.
as they open the floodgates, we're going to go back, because there's so much that you can lose. So if you take some of Lovelace's advice, use some of the things that you can have at your fingertips from a biohack standpoint, you should be all right. Clint?
100%, man. You got to take care of yourself right now. You know, don't wait until, you know, you think it's going to be a better time in another week or another month or whatever. So yeah, 100%. Now, you know, we're talking about health right now, but we're going to transition into the health of your computer and your networks rather than the health of your body, because there is a health matrix inside of, you know, inside of your computers. A lot of people just think that, hey, you turn it on, you do your work, and it's good to go, and that's just simply not the case. You know, we have a slew of things that have to be really addressed whenever it comes to your computers. You know, the core focus of health of the systems is making sure that they stay updated. And I hesitate to say get all the updates done on your systems, because some people don't even know how to, you know, necessarily get updates done on their systems. Yes, there's the Microsoft updates that run within Windows, but then there's some systems that you don't want Microsoft to update those systems. And sometimes whenever Microsoft releases it, believe it or not, I know this is going to shock everybody, but the updates Microsoft releases isn't perfect either. So in some cases, you may not even want to think about installing that particular update. You may want to wait a week until they release, you know, 2.0 or 3.0 of the one that they just released. You know, and it's complicated. So there's a lot of things that you've got to stop and be aware of and be ready for whenever those updates come out. Microsoft's not the only company that does updates. I mean, any kind of software provider that's out there, even the hardware providers. We've got Dell, you know, we've got Lenovo, we've got HP, we got all these hardware manufacturers, even Apple. You know, Apple's got their updates that they put out there. None of them are perfect. You know, they fix a list of problems that they've identified. But if you don't put it out there, this is what I need to really make sure that is in everybody's head right now. They make an announcement that is completely public, that we know that we have this problem, this vulnerability or whatever in our system, and now that's public knowledge. And if you don't go out and do their update, well, I can promise you there are hackers out there that now that they know that that's a vulnerability, those suckers are trying to get into your system. They're looking for every system in the world that has that vulnerability. So that's one of the reasons why these updates become extremely important. And it's not just a software updated. They are hardware updates as well that are extremely important on this. I get asked this a lot. Hey, what's the best antivirus to use? Believe it or not, there is a next generation of antivirus that's out there, and it is AI-based, artificial intelligence-based antivirus. It is a complete game changer whenever it comes to antivirus. If any of you know much about, you know, off-the-shelf type antivirus, you've got two parts of an antivirus. You've got the part that they call an engine, and then the part that they call the definition. The engine will detect whether or not there's a virus on the system or, you know, an infection coming in to interact with your system. And then the definition say, okay, you detected it. Now this is how you fix it. AI works completely differently. There are no two sides to it. It's one system that is constantly evolving to protect your system against these issues. So this AI antivirus is completely changing the game out there. It costs a little bit more, but whenever you stop and look at how much more it actually fixes and prevents, it's second to none. So you definitely need to make sure that if you're investing in antivirus on all of your systems, you know, you need it on your desktop, you need it on your tablets, you need it on your network, your servers and everything, always look at an AI-based antivirus. Making sure that your files are protected. You know, this sounds funny to just say, you know, make sure you're backing up things, but most people don't actually back up their files. They think, oh, well, it's already being backed up. You know, Windows does that for me, or maybe I've got OneDrive. But I can't tell you how many times that our team has actually gotten on systems that they thought they were getting backups and they were not getting backups. I'm going to call out one company right now because I hate these people with a passion. Carbonite. I do. They have such a crappy program, Carbonite, and there has been flaws inside this code for so many years that hasn't been addressed. The program just stops working sometimes, and it won't alert anybody. You know, they may see it, they may not. If they come up to it and they look in the tray and it says it's not running, but you know, there are flaws inside of it that since we have a tendency to create folders and then folders within folders and then so on and so forth, you know, if I put Nolan Davis up social network and then put a date and then put a name of the organization or name of the event that we're doing, that gets extremely long. And then whenever it gets past that point and now I have to make a file name inside the folder name, that whole character string gets really long. Carbonite fails whenever it hits a certain point, and no matter what you can do after that, you're just screwed. You will not get those files backed up. If you have too many special characters in those file names, and those special characters actually could be a space. We have a tendency to now put spaces in our file names because, you know, that's how we type. That, you know, we just type and we communicate. We don't just have one long ongoing word. We have spaces. Well, those spaces are actually calculated into different code. Whenever you hit enter, you just don't see it. So that right there creates a problem.
Clint, I just want to let everybody know, everybody who's viewing this live and everybody who's going to see the recording, just leave it to Nolan and Clint to give you a webinar that talks about the companies that we hate and whooping your kids. Like, you can't get this everywhere. I just wanted to put that out there. I'm sorry, continue, sir. Continue.
I got a list of other companies that I hate too, but that's going to be a webinar for another day. I mean, we got to have a series, right?
Absolutely, baby. Absolutely. Let's go.
So anyways, man, so these backups, you got to test the backups. I can't emphasize more than anything. People turn these backup systems on. They just expect that they're working and they never go back and test them. They never try to go do a restore or anything to that nature. Make sure you've got that stuff on schedule, you know, monthly, quarterly, whatever it is, but you've got to make sure that those things have some sort of a log that can tell you, yes, this did back up. It did back up at this time, and it is recoverable. So that's going to give you a lot less stress, like we were just talking about before, as long as you know that you can recover if and when something decides to crash, or if you get hacked. You know, there's been, I can't even count how many times over the past year, 2 years, that companies have come to us from our vendors saying, "Hey, you guys really need, you know, to talk to these people. They just got ransomware." And then, you know, again, I'm going to throw Carbonite under the bus. I'm going to throw iDrive under the bus. These companies fail miserably whenever it comes to recovering files after those kind of attacks. They just they don't even block that kind of ransomware. They just it infects everything. So your backups are useless at that point in time. So, you know, this is just trying to make sure that you understand there are so many vulnerabilities out there. You have to be checking your stuff so that you can make sure that you can actually continue after some sort of a breach happens.
Okay, cool.
I recommend IT policies to all of our clients. I can't say that all of our clients accept them, but after I emphasize and I give them case studies and I give them for examples, like I'm getting ready to tell you right now, it's usually a little bit more acceptable in the environment that we're in right now, and even prior to this whole COVID situation. BYOD, bring your own device. That just bring your own laptop, bring your own cell phone, bring your own desktop. Maybe you're working at home, so you're working your home network and everything. This is a bad situation for a business, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason that this is bad is you don't know how they're taking care of security, or if they're taking care of security on that device. If they're not getting those updates done, they don't have a good antivirus. They may have gotten McAfee because they installed Adobe Acrobat or something, and you know that stuff's secure. So you know that's just, I mean, it's junk. You get all these programs. You probably right now already have about 6 different antiviruses installed on your system because you went out and installed Adobe, or you went out and installed 10 other programs, and it just kind of came in right behind it because you just hit next, next, next. And yes, I want the typical install and this, that, and the other. Stop doing that. You got to be careful. Anytime that there's an advanced option on an install, take it. Let it show you what it's about to do in the background. Stop trying to just take the quick way and shorten this down to a 5-second install. Take 30 seconds. Read the menus. Don't be lazy. And whenever it comes to these use policies, I tell people all the time that we have to be responsible as business owners and organizations, that if you're going to provide internet, if you're going to provide Wi-Fi, if you're going to provide devices and have people on your network, you have to let them know what's acceptable and what is not acceptable. In other words, I don't want you bringing your personal cell phone in, connecting it behind the firewall, connecting it to the private Wi-Fi network. And now if your phone has been compromised, now you just compromised my network. If you're going to be bringing your phone in, connect it to a guest network, turn the Wi-Fi off, just use your cell services. Don't infect my network. That's the real big key there. And that's just not even all of the acceptable use policies. There's things like, if this is a company computer, or even if it's not a company computer, if you're using it for business purposes, stop installing video games on your damn systems. I can't tell you enough that we find something like Steam. Steam is a platform online that you can install all sorts of different games on there. Steam's not bulletproof. Steam's got issues, and it has Trojan horses that will come in all the time, and it will compromise the system, and you won't know it because you're not running an AI-based antivirus, and it doesn't. Your off-the-shelf stuff that you got because you installed Adobe ain't gonna catch anything. Mm-hmm. So you got to make sure that you're telling your people, look, this is the way that you're allowed to use our equipment, are allowed to use our network, you're allowed to use our bandwidth. This is going to make your company run a lot smoother, and your IT bills are going to go down, 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 and you're going to have a lot less stress and headaches over this. And that's it. All the way back to Nolan again.
Hey.
So, I might get passionate about this stuff, but hey, I'm a passionate kind of guy.
Hey, it's what you do, and everybody needs to have their own superpower. So you got to be passionate about your superpower. If not, you right. Who. So, but here's my thing. I just want to add to that. For those that are creative, a lot of times when we download fonts and things like that, they strategically place things where as soon as you click it, it'll say download now, and that's not the font. So just like to your point, as you were talking about going through the setup part of certain, downloads or whatever the case may be, even from a creative standpoint, I know we all into our projects because I got a video production company. Slow down and make sure you scroll that whole page, because it'll say download now, and it'll be something else. And then the thing that you need is all the way at the bottom in a real small button that says download. So, just being mindful of that whole situation. I've caught that a lot of times. I've seen
exactly what you're talking about. There will literally be like 10 areas on the page that tells you download now, and you don't know which one to click on. So that's a bad situation, man.
Absolutely. So I know Lovelace said that we're still in his ear. We're about to wrap up, Lovelace.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right, cool. I just wanted to, give you a shout out. I wanted to thank you for being on with us.
Very much.
Clint told me that he wanted somebody to talk physical, and I was like, not only can you talk physical, but you also from a nutrition standpoint as well, which
Yes,
to
sir.
me is holistic, right? You can always get a workout dude, but to get a dude that knows exactly how to replenish, how to fuel your body, you know, how to just maximize what we're doing in the gym and those workouts and movements is a great thing. So I just wanted to thank you personally for being on with us, man.
Oh, of course, sir. You know I like spreading the word.
Absolutely,
All right,
absolutely.
thank you very much, David. Thank you, Nolan. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I appreciate every one of you. And this video is going to be going live up on the website